My name is Ashley DeLuca, and my goal of this presentation is to explain how to use formative assessment through the 7 strategies, but specifically focusing on one of the assessments for learning. Formative assessments is the process teachers and students use to gather evidence for the purpose of informing the next steps in learning. They are all connected to the 7 strategies of assessment because their main goal is to adjust teaching and learning so both student and teachers know what actions to take to keep learning on a successful track. This is important for student learning because it helps develop a growth mindset. My goal with all students is to open their eyes to a growth mindset to connect, develop, continue to grow their mathematical mindset. We're teaching and preparing students for the future jobs that might not exist yet. So we need to help them not want to be given the correct answer or be given the correct steps. We want them to be able to start to explore. We want them to be able to make mistakes without fear. And this is where self-assessment and goal setting comes into place. Before having students self-assess and set goals, they must have a specific feedback, a specific target, and that's given through feedback after strategies 1, 2, and 3. Self-assessment is important for learning because it allows students to stop and think and reflect on their work. Remember, self-assessment means continued learning. This isn't to be confused with self-grading. Self-grading is where they're focused more on the mark or the grade on their paper, rather than self-assessment, where they are focused on the descriptive information about the level of attainment to the intended learning. Strategy 4 is the building block to help them successfully set themselves up on a good learning path. They need a chance to practice and monitor their skills in order to improve. In order to implement Strategy 4 successfully, you have to complete 4 things: self-assessment, justification, goal setting, and an action plan. Self-assessment is the student's opinion of how they are doing, so it is important that they can support their opinion with evidence. Select just one learning target at a time for students to focus on and collect evidence for. This will allow them to justify their reasoning. By justifying their reasoning or judgments or decision with their actual references to their work, allows them to explain what they did, why they did it, when they did it, and the purpose of it. So this allows them to then set goals based off of their self-assessment and or your feedback. Specific challenging goals can equate to growth mindset by triggering effort than low challenging goals. This allows students to build stamina and persistence, like a growth mindset. With proper goals, students will be able to see growth and to tap into knowledge from the strategies that they already have. So it allows them to answer the question, where am I going, where am I now, and how do I close the gap? And they set their goals, make a plan, and keep working towards that to get that, in order to stay right on the right track and progressing to achieving their goals. This allows them then to create their action plan, which is creating a way that they're going to actually achieve their goals. With proper self-assessment and goals, students will be able to make a plan of action in order to improve. Prompt them with questions focusing on their strengths, highest priorities for studying, and what I need to review. Making sure all students can define when and where they are going to achieve their goal and describe it in detail and how they're going to accomplish this is the goal of the action plan. You have to monitor students' understanding. So this is where checking for understanding comes into play. They will do multiple different types of assessments in order to self-assess, but to become successful learners, they need to have practice with it so that they can set goals and map out a plan that they will be able to achieve in order to improve their learning. Converting a rubric to a checklist of descriptive phrases for them is a good way to help them build self-efficacy, set clear targets, and improve their achievement. Focusing on strategy 4 to really instill a growth mindset in my students is my goal in regards to their mathematical mindset. Starting by involving the students to increase their motivation and engagement in the classroom through self-assessment and their goals is the purpose of why I chose to focus on strategy 4. Thank you for watching my presentation.